to the next topic. I'll let you run with this.
I mean, we're just going to ask a couple questions about the MLB. We're not going to stay too long on this topic. You guys have stuff to do. We have stuff to do on our Sunday night. So basically, we've had a lot of hot teams in the MLB. We had a lot of slow starters in the MLB. So we're going to go with who are we most worried about in the MLB out of the slow starters, and who do we see taking it to the next level with the hotter teams? Who do we see keeping it hot and keep going on through the season and maybe make it to first place and maybe make it to the playoffs, all right? So out of these elite teams, which ones are we most worried about? These are teams that we saw going to the postseason pretty easily, winning first place, maybe even going to the World Series.
Teams that were there last year.
So we have the Yankees at 10-9. We have the Nationals at 10-11. We have Minnesota at 8-7. We have the Cubs at 9-9, and we have the Dodgers at 9-10. Those are the records. Obviously, a lot of teams that we thought would just started off hot. We thought they'd be in first place, but obviously not. Some are in second, third place. Some are in fourth, fifth place. So who are we most worried about to start off the season?
All right. And before we go there, I'm going to say to everybody.
Yankees are now 11-9 because they won today.
Thank you very much for tuning in. This is Family Chats. I'm Freddie. Got my son Giovanni, my nephew Angel, and we do this on a weekly basis. Appreciate you guys tuning in. What I didn't say early on, if you can, hit the share button on your Facebook page and share this with everyone. And appreciate you guys tuning in, your comments. So I see we got some Mets fans, but we're going to answer these questions and we'll come back to you guys.
And YouTube, if you want to answer the questions, go ahead and answer. Comment below what you guys think. Obviously, comment right now before we start. See if we agree with you.
Angel, I'll let you start with answering the questions of those four teams.
5.
Was it 5?
5.
I'll go with, I have two that I'm a little worried about. My top team right now that I'm worried about the most is Dodgers. Right now, they're
falling behind.
They're falling behind big time. They're in a division where they can't fall behind, really, because there's so many good teams in that division. If it was just one good team, one average, decent team, but no, like we said last year, they had 3 teams from that division make the playoffs last year. Arizona is off to a hot start right now. The Giants are starting to turn it around a little bit with their offense. McCutchen started off slow, Longoria started off real slow, but they're starting to turn it around a little bit. But the Dodgers, when you have Kershaw, who's 1-2 with a 1-something ERA,
the bats have not arrived yet.
Is a problem.
That's pretty bad.
The biggest thing, what has Corey Seager done so far this season?
Absolutely
What has Chris Taylor
nothing.
done this season? Cody Bellinger is getting on base. He's doing his thing. He's not dropping bombs like crazy like he was when he first came up last year. But the big key to the Dodgers winning again is Justin Turner needs to come back. He's the key guy for that offense. He's going to come back. He's going to hit. He gets on base, drives and runs, and their offense is awful. Like I said, Kershaw is 1-2 with like a 1.9 ERA.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
They got to start scoring runs, and they can't fall behind anymore because that division's too good, and it's going to be hard enough for them to come back.
So Dodgers is your team that you're worried about the most, right?
They are my team. I'm worried about them.
The Dodgers they're 5 games back behind Arizona. They're a game behind Colorado. You have the other team, the Nationals, in 4th place, 4.5 games behind the Mets. Could have been worse than that if the Mets would have took care of business with their closers. But the Nationals are 4.5 games behind. You have Minnesota, who started off okay, but hit a slide. They lost 4 in a row.
They're now 8-8.
Here to Tampa, they're 8-8. They're a game and a half behind Cleveland, and Cleveland's starting to turn it around. You have the Yankees, who are 11-9. They're 5.5 games behind Boston. And the positive part about the Yankees is they won 3 out of 4 against Toronto, and Boston has lost 2 games. So they made up 2 games just in the last 2 days to Boston. They were 7.5 2 days ago. So I would agree with Angel based off of exactly what he said, right? Coming into the season, we talked about that's the toughest division based off last year. The Rockies, everybody got better. They had great years. Rockies made the playoffs. Arizona played right, and the 3 teams that made the playoffs got better. But they do have Kershaw, and they do. That's probably the biggest concern, because when you look at who on their pitching staff you can rely on, it's Kershaw the most. Do they have a second guy that you say, well, he's just as good? They've struggled with hitting, and they struggled in their bullpen. The closer struggled big time. He looks like he's lost some on his fastball. Could be all the pitching last year in the playoffs. But I would be concerned for those reasons too. Is not only because I think they'll turn it around, but it's just, will they turn it around in time enough, or will they be so far behind that they can't catch up to the Diamondbacks? The Diamondbacks have started off well, and they'll continue to play well.
So listen, for me, I'm actually not as worried about the Dodgers as you guys are. The team I'm most worried about right now, and honestly is the team with the best record, it's the Yankees, because the Red Sox have started off so hot. And the Red Sox have started off as the best team in baseball, and obviously the Yankees are going to have the most ground to make up. Obviously they won the last 2 games, and the Red Sox have lost the last 2 games, but still 5.5 games, that's a lot to make up, even in the early part of the season. It can obviously switch at any point, but looking at how hot the Red Sox have started off, one of the hottest starts of any team ever.
They started franchise history for them.
So, I mean, just seeing that, it worries me a little bit. And another team I'd say I'm worried about is the Cubs, just because they just haven't seemed like the Cubs. I mean, I'm
not so worried about the Cubs.
They're 2 games behind.
I'm not so worried about the Cubs. They started off like that last year too. They started off terrible, almost
the thing with the Cubs is,
and then they ended up turning it around.
The thing with the Cubs is,
enough,
the 3 teams ahead of them have been playing pretty decent baseball, and they obviously got those 3 teams to worry about all year. So I feel like they're going to have to battle with 3 other teams all year long. That's when it's going to be, you start to worry a little bit when you think the Dodgers, you're not thinking, Arizona's going to be tough, but I feel like once the Dodgers start hitting, they're going to be able to run through that division.
Yeah. And the Cubs, I'm not so concerned with the Cubs, just because I just think that team will be beating each other up, and they're not. The teams above the Cubs aren't that much better. Like when you look at the Diamondbacks, they're legit one of the top teams in the West, or in the National League, and not just the West, but the National League. Where the Cardinals, right? You don't look at them as going to run away with it. Milwaukee has some talent. I just think they'll all be right. They'll all be close as the year goes on.
Pittsburgh was playing well, but they have now lost 4 games in a row.
Yeah, they're coming back to reality. We were talking about that. Were they playing really good teams or not, or it's just a fluke? Looks like it was just a fluke for the Pirates, and they can't go too far behind, because my sleeper, as I said earlier, was the Cardinals. I just think the organization always just seems to
find
a way to win, and they have been playing pretty good. You say the Yankees, which is our team, and it's almost like last year. The Yankees did a similar thing. They struggled early on with bullpen. They say they have the best bullpen, but last year their bullpen blew a lot of leads. And they had to figure it out. Chapman, they had to pull Chapman from the relievers role. Remember last year? They had to pull him from the relievers role because he went through a funk. They were just blowing games, and they had to kind of just get it back together before the playoffs. So I see the Yankees getting it back together. I think here's the thing I see. The cold weather up in the north has really been killing some teams.
Yeah, it's freezing.
The Yankees, the Cleveland Indians, Minnesota, but they're in Minnesota. But I think you can see who's struggling, like Lindor struggling. You're seeing seeing Stanton struggle. These are guys that are used to playing in hot weather places, right? Stanton's from Florida or California, right? You got Lindor from Puerto Rico. So not everybody's struggling, but you see certain players struggle, and I think that it's hard to, it's hard to play cold weather.
Encarnacion and Lindor from the islands, and they're
struggling.
They're struggling.
I think as soon as it warms up, those guys are going to heat back up, just like Stanton in New York. I think Stanton's got 2 things going for him. One, he's playing in the big city, which is a lot of pressure, a lot of media. It's much different than Florida. Everything is magnified. And 2, the weather. So I think both, you got a perfect storm going on with Stanton in New York. And I think once they turn it around and once they start playing in some good weather, watch out for the Yankees. And I love, like some of you guys said, they brought up Torres, their #1 prospect today. Didn't have a great day, but the Yankees won. And I'm excited about Torres, because I thought going into the year that the Yankees needed to do 2 things. They needed to let Torres play second, and they needed Andujar to play third. And we talked about that. I said they don't need to pick up anybody. But the one pickup that I would say has hurt the Yankees that they didn't go after is Frazier. Not signing Frazier for third
They've
base
struggled at third base all
has
year.
been unbelievably hurting the Yankees and unbelievably helping the Mets. Because Frazier does something in the clubhouse that nobody else can do. He relaxes the clubhouse. He's experienced. He just has fun, and it relaxes the clubhouse. He did it when he came to the New York Yankees last year. He's doing it with the Mets this year. You can see they're having fun. He's having fun, and they are loving life over there in Queens with Frazier. And I think that's hurt the Yankees that they didn't re-sign him for a year or try to get him for a year while Andujar was still developing. But again, I still thought they should have gave the young kids
All
a
right,
chance.
and here is another question. We're going to call this legit or quit. So which teams are legit and which teams are probably going to quit? So I got 6 teams now. These are the hottest teams in baseball with the best records. Let's start it with the Red Sox. They're 17-4 now. They lost today. We have the Houston Astros 15-7. We have the Mets who are 14-6. We have the Angels who are 14-7. Arizona who is 14-6, and Philadelphia who is 13-7. 14-7 now that they won today.
Yeah.
So legit or quit?
Legit or
quit.
Okay.
Too legit to quit.
Listen, you guys laughed in my face when I said the Philadelphia Phillies would be better than the Mets, but it's looking kind of silly right now that they're almost half a game
behind the Mets.
in the top of the
You were
NL East.
You were right. You had something there with the Phillies. But it's funny. I did say they would play a little bit better too. That don't sleep on those East teams. Not only them, but also in the American League East with Toronto playing well. There's just something about these leagues. The teams fight, man. They have enough good talent to fight. All right. Let's go. Name them, and we'll go through each team. Go through the first one.
All right, so we'll go with the first, the hottest team of the year. We'll go with the Boston Red Sox, who are 17-4.
Legit. Go ahead. You could go.
We can both say
but-
legit. Well, it's easy,
Yeah.
right? 1 experience, 2 pitching, 3 JD Martinez.
JD Martinez.
Yeah,
is such a-
JD Martinez
Mookie
has
Betts
completed.
has been hitting.
Right. What's happened is they got JD Martinez, moved JD Martinez into the RBI role, and they moved Mookie Betts to the leadoff role, and it's played wonders. Right? I think it's relaxed Mookie Betts being the leadoff guy instead of trying to drive the runs in. That's what JD Martinez does. Hanley's been better because JD Martinez
Haley has been
is
amazing
here.
this year.
Harris is
So,
very good this year.
The Red Sox are legit.
So it looks like everybody, even in the comments, is saying the Red Sox are legit.
Red Sox
I would
are
also
legit.
agree Red Sox are legit. Would we say that they're going to coast through the year and we're going to see them in first place and see them in the...
They will be in
I
first
think
place
they'll be
for
in
most
first.
of the year.
I think they'll finish first.
Unless they get hurt or something, I do think that they will be in first for most of the year. I think the Yankees will challenge them and continue to challenge them, but I think that it pains me to say it, the Red Sox right now are just playing much better, and their pitching is much better right now. Until our starters can show more consistency. Their starters have been a little bit more consistent than ours.
All right, so let's go with the second hottest team in baseball, the defending World Series champions, the Houston Astros at 16-7.
Yeah, I'm not worried about them. They're legit. They
Too legit.
Garrett Cole is
Jeez.
right now probably the Cy Young Award winner in the AL. He
Another
has a 0.96
That's painful.
ERA with 41 strikeouts. I think he's 2-0. I think he has 1 no decision.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think as a Yankee fan, the 2 things that pain me just looking back at the offseason is that the Yankees didn't ultimately make the trade to get him.
They didn't get Cole, they didn't get Ohtani, they didn't get Frazier.
Right?
They want to stand.
Either right.
I got Stanton, who's
You
been
got
trash.
Stanton.
Who's been
I
trash.
think any of those 3 would have made a huge difference. Ohtani, especially
Pitching.
Ohtani, yeah.
Pitching makes the difference.
Pitching. And they tried. I give Cashman credit. He was the one that went after him. It became big news, and the Pirates, I still believe the Pirates made the wrong choice going with what the Astros gave. The Yankees offered them better talent. They went with the Astros trade based on what they say. But that hurts me as a Yankee fan. The Astros are legit, man. They got pitching. They got better at pitching. And obviously their hitting is going to hit. So they'll probably be the team to beat again. And it's going to be hard to beat them once you get into the playoffs with that pitching staff.
Yes.
So we're giving the Astros a 2 legit.
They're
Too
too legit.
Too legit.
They're way better than last year. Like now they start the year off with a Verlander. They start the year off with Garrett Cole. Like last year, their ace was Dallas Keuchel, and now he's their number 3.
So now we're gonna go into a little more shaky,
All
kind
right,
of
real
games.
quick, I'm gonna answer Richie. Richie says Mets got top 2 pitchers and can't rely on them only. We'll trade you Harvey and Reyes for anybody. Legit if we stay healthy otherwise. True. You know, you have DeGrom who pitched 7 innings, 10 Ks, and the bullpen blows it. So that's just frustrating. But let's move on to the next team.
So let's go ahead and go to the team in Los Angeles with the hottest player in baseball, maybe the hottest 2 players with Ohtani and Trout. They are 14-8. What do we think about them? Legit or quit?
I'm gonna make a bold.
Second place.
I'm gonna make a bold one here, and I'm gonna say quit.
Dang.
I'm gonna say quit for LA. I don't think they have the pitching to do it. They have the lineup, definitely have the lineup, with especially if Ohtani could swing it like he's been swinging it. But they have to rely on him as their top pitcher, which is kind of hurting them. I mean, he's a good pitcher. Don't get me wrong, he's a good pitcher. But after that, who do you really have to rely on after Ohtani?
It's tough.
Garrett Richards,
Tough.
who's
They have
been having injuries and Tommy John
Came off of
surgeries.
Tommy John surgery.
They don't have a bullpen.
That's
They
a
don't have a
problem.
bullpen,
That's
which
a
is a
problem.
problem.
Pujols has been hitting very good though. Their offense has been
Pujols-
super good.
Their offense is the reason
Yeah,
why I'd
Pujols.
say I'm iffy. Like
Kinsler just came back.
Kinsler,
Ozark,
Upton has been swinging it.
Upton. Their lineup is going to be
Their lineup's going to score them
good.
runs.
But it's true. I think James,
We're getting
Ricky,
a lot of
they're
quits
both
here.
saying quits, right? They're not legit.
Not
I
legit.
ultimately say they are legit to a point where they will fight for the wild card position. I think they'll be in the wild card run most of the year. They won't catch Houston. They'll be too far away from Houston. Houston's going to run away with the division and the best record. They're just going to run away from everybody, I believe. And I don't think the Angels are going to catch them. The Angels will be fighting for a wild card, and I think they will be in that race all year.
Yeah.
All right, so let's
Agree.
go to another team out in the West, Arizona.
Very legit. Very legit. I would say right now they're the most legit in the National League.
Wow.
Yeah. If I go Houston being the best in the American League, Arizona's the most legit.
So we're gonna give
in
them
the
a
National
legitness.
League. They're too legit.
Legitness.
Arizona. They got the pitching. Corbin pitching lights out
Yeah.
behind Greinke, and then you have they're hitting. They can hit. You know, they're legit, man. They're the real deal.
I'm going to go legit. Yeah. I was going to, I don't know. I was going to say quit, but I was like,
You
no,
couldn't.
they're
We've talked about them
yeah,
all
they're
year.
too good. Corbin has been pitching like Cy Young.
Cy Young, man.
He struck out 11 today in 6 innings
Yeah. He's
and got the win. If JD Martinez was on their team still,
Oh my goodness.
they'd be
Yeah.
Some legit
Too
from the
legit.
comments. I'm gonna go ahead and say quit.
You
I
don't-
think-
you don't believe in them.
I think the Dodgers are gonna catch them, and I think they're gonna end up eventually missing the playoffs because I don't think the West is gonna have both the wild card spots at the end of the year. I think
You think the Rockies are going to pass Arizona?
they could.
I think the Rockies could pass them too. Their
Arizona
hitting is
might
good.
get in as the first wild card or the second wild card team, but the East is having a couple good years. So let's move on to the East, and let's start with the Philadelphia Phillies, who are now 14-7. What do we think? Are they legit or are they quit? This is a tough one.
This is a tough one.
They have the new coach. They have Hoskins, who's tearing the cover off the ball. They have a lot of role players who are playing very well right now.
And they have Arrieta.
And they have Jake Arrieta, who
Which
pitched his
is well.
first good game with the Philadelphia Phillies. What are we saying? Legit or quitness?
Quit.
I would say quit on
Quit.
this too because I think eventually the Nationals are going to heat up. And
Yeah.
I think the Nationals are going to, right? I think the Nationals are going to heat up. They're eventually going to win that division. I'm sorry, Mets fans. I think the Nationals ultimately have the most pitching out of anyone. So eventually their pitching and their hitting will catch up. I love what the Mets are doing. I think the Mets will fight for the wild card all year. I said this at the beginning of the year, but I think the Phillies' biggest problem is not only the Nats, but it's the Mets and it's the Braves because the Braves are even playing pretty good. So I think the Phillies will fall
the
back.
Braves-
I think quit on the
So
Phillies.
The Braves have the
James
most runs
is
scored in
saying-
major leagues.
Phillies is not legit. They're quit.
Yep, he's saying quit.
Carl agrees with me on something. Don't know what that is.
He says finally, which is the Phillies not being real. That's what I think.
Entire division quit for John.
John doesn't like the National
I'm
League.
gonna go and say that Philly is legit. I like what the coach is doing. He's brought a new atmosphere to Philly. I like the starting pitching that they have. They have decent starting pitching. Who's pitching obviously above
They
par.
almost ran the coach out of town in the first
I
few
love.
games.
I
I didn't
love.
even know what he was doing.
I love.
He didn't even look
I
like he ever
love.
played
I
baseball in his
love
life
Reese
or watched it.
Hoskins. I love Reese Hoskins. He's got to be the most
Reese is the real deal.
He's got to be the most underrated superstar in baseball now at this point.
Yeah, he's the real deal.
I don't think he can win Rookie of the Year, but he has my vote if he can. Because the dude is playing insane
And you have him
again.
in your fantasy team, so he's a little biased.
He's playing insane again. I mean, the dude gets hitting the cover off the ball. I think Philly could end up being legit, but I think they might end up missing the playoffs depending on how Washington comes out of this, and depending on if them or the Mets. Which brings us to our next team.
So
And our
Philly
last
can't
team.
be legit if you think they're going to miss the playoffs.
No, I
Yeah.
think they're going to make the playoffs.
They're-
You
but
think
I
the
mean,
Phillies are going to make the playoffs?
I think the
No.
Phillies are going to make the playoffs.
Wow,
I
that
think
is
they're a
horrendous.
year-
I think that's why I think
They're too
Arizona's going to
young.
miss the playoffs.
They're
Because
too
I think the
young.
Mets and
But,
Phillies are going
but
to
the
make the
Phillies
playoffs.
have, beyond Arrieta, they do have some pitching. And
They have
some
good
pitching.
underrated pitching.
They got Carlos Santana, and they got Hoskins, and they got some players. So they're not winning now
The-
for anything. They're winning because they're.
The Phillies need to quit.
And the
right
Phillies are 9-1
You guys are just Mets
at
fans.
home.
This
See?
guy's just a Met
You're-
fan under
He's
his
wearing
Yankees,
all
under his
Yankee
Yankees.
stuff. So how is he a Mets
Under
fan?
his Yankee stuff, he's just a stupid Mets fan.
I do root for the Mets. So
Phillies
that's
need
true.
to quit.
All right,
Not
so
a bad
this brings
idea.
us to our last team, our last legit or quit team. It is the New York Mets, who are now 14-6.
They're,
Got postponed today.
The
Really
Mets
need
are
to
the
really
real
win.
deal, man. Let's just say how it is. The Mets are the real deal, and the biggest reason
Thank you.
is because they
Thank
got Syndergaard, they got DeGrom,
Thank you.
and they got Cespedes.
Thank you.
Those are the three players. If any of those guys get hurt, the Mets are going to be hurting. Now, they do have Frazier, they have Gonzalez, they have some experience. Cabrera's playing great. They got a new coach. The bullpen concerns me. You know, they've strengthened their bullpen, but the bullpen still concerns me just a little. But that's normal for bullpens. You know, the Yankees bullpen is iffy right now. They say they got the best bullpen, but they struggle. Bullpens go through this. They go through struggles, and then, you know, some bullpens stay hot. The Mets are legit because of those players that I stated. Frazier being on the team, relaxing them, I think is great. I think it does wonders for the Mets, and I think the Mets are legit.
Yep. I think they're legit too. Like you said, they got good pitching. They just moved Harvey to the bullpen, which is
I thought it was the
Which is
best
good.
move. That's a good move.
I like it.
I think Harvey will, I think
Which is
Harvey
good.
will thrive in the bullpen.
Harvey. Having a guy like Harvey coming out of the bullpen, I feel like will benefit the Mets because of how bad their bullpen is doing. So maybe that's the reason why they put Harvey in the bullpen. Maybe not because of his starting
That's
pitching.
true.
Maybe because
Familiar?
Familia, he's gonna have 50.
It's like what Richie says right
Yeah,
here.
56.
Familiar scares him every time he comes in the game.
Like, how do you throw a 97-mile-an-hour sinker and just have it get
And not
rocked
find it
all the time?
because he hangs it. He either can't find it,
Flat.
like yesterday, and he walks a bunch of guys before then he gets it up and they hit it.
Yeah.
He's just not having control of it. That's
Just-
the biggest problem, I think, with Familia.
Just wait until Cespedes hasn't been hot.
I know he hasn't even been hot yet.
He hasn't even been
He
hot.
needs to play a little golf. I think his golf game off. You know, he's promised he wouldn't play golf. I think it's killing him.
Conforto, let him start getting rolling. I mean, he started off a little pretty decently. Adrian Gonzalez started off really well with the Mets,
Yeah.
driving in some key
Yes.
runs. Todd Frazier
Frazier's coming
Is-
through.
playing like no other right now. He's
Cabrera.
Cabrera.
He's been on fire.
But
I'm
right
just
now,
going to go ahead and
problem
say
with
that the
is-
Mets are legit but could quit.
Will the Mets make the playoffs?
Yes,
See me
the
in
Mets-
maybe.
The Mets are going to win the East.
The Mets are going to win these, but
Right
he's a
now-
Mets fan.
Angels a little
Right
better.
now, the Nationals just put Rendon on a DL.
They're,
Murphy is still on the DL.
they're banged up.
Ryan Zimmerman hasn't been hitting. Harper's the only
Zimmerman's getting there.
Harper's
Harper
the
is the
only one right
only
now.
one right now who's playing well, and he's only playing well because he knows he has $400 million on the board next year. So he's a free agent.
Maybe
So he's
$500 million.
maybe $1 billion.
Maybe Maybe $1 billion
maybe
for
$1
20
billion
years.
contract.
Oh my god.
So Harper's
Sign me 20
playing.
years for $1 billion.
Harper is playing like he's going to win the MVP and soon sign a 1 year, $400 million contract.
Could you imagine
Yeah.
someone getting signed for
So,
$1 billion?
the Mets, we believe the Mets are legit.
Harper sees dollar signs.
The Mets are legit. They are. Again, it's all dependent on health, just like any other team. But they have plugged in some holes with some of these veteran guys. I think moving Harvey, even though he doesn't like it, to the bullpen is the right thing to do. I think Harvey needs to take advantage of this and start, come in hard for an inning, and he can be a closer. I think he has the mindset to be a closer, Harvey.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. I think Harvey can be a closer with his mindset. If he just gets past this starting, not being able to start, I think if he thrives in the bullpen, he could be a closer.
Yeah, that's what I said. I mean,
No.
obviously he's not the same Harvey like he
No.
was when he was with the Mets in 2013. He was the All-Star game starter, and obviously he's not that same.
Let me give you an example. Wade, right, who's with the Rockies closer right now. He was a top prospect with the Rays as a starter. He just flunked. He didn't pitch well as a starter. He
Who
had
we
all
talking
this
about?
talent.
Wade Davis?
Wade Davis
Mm.
from the Rockies. He was a Tampa Bay Rays top prospect, pitching prospect, and he just stunk as a starter. He just couldn't figure it out. They knew he was a great pitcher. He just didn't figure it out. They ended up trading him, right? They ended up trading him to, I believe, the Royals, again as a starter. Couldn't figure it out, and then they put him in the bullpen and lights out in Kansas City. Like, his fastball went up. Right, think about this. His fastball increased several miles an hour, 3-4 miles an hour. All of a sudden now he's throwing close to almost 100 miles an hour as a closer. And he's nasty. And you go, where was that as a starter? And I think this is the same thing Harvey's going through. I think he's at a point now where you just say, Harvey, let it go. Throw it hard for one inning
Yep.
and let it go. Stop trying to finesse, stop trying to throw all these pitches, throw the fastball, throw it hard, and then use another pitch. And I think this is where Harvey will eventually start to thrive. His fastball will go up a little bit because he doesn't have to worry about 7 innings, 6 innings. He can let it go. I think he has the mindset to be a bully closer, one of these guys who can come out and shut it down.
Yeah.
That's what I see Harvey's future, being kind of like a Wade Davis.
I see Harvey being a 3-4 inning guy who barely ever gets called on for the Mets. I think he's going to eventually rot in the Mets bullpen. I think he's going to be traded, or he's going to be a free agent and he's going to get out of there. I don't see the Mets going very far with Harvey just because of how bad he's been.
I think in the back of Harvey's mind, he knows he's had Tommy John twice. So I think for him, why he's not trying to heat it up, I just don't think he believes in his mechanics just to try to throw the ball.
Right. He doesn't let it go.
He doesn't let it go like we talk about. He's throwing 94,
Dude has
90,
robo arm.
94, 95, and that's good velocity.
Great velocity.
But when he's 97, 98, it's like he's
It's a different
untouchable.
pitcher.
And then when he puts his slider at 91
Yeah.
and not 88, 87, it's like
Nasty.
it's like Syndergaard. Like you
Yeah.
can't
He should
hit,
have
you can't
robot
hit
arm by
93
now.
mile an hour sliders
I know,
He
so-
should-
and 100 mile an hour fastballs.
He should have a robot arm.
All right, let's answer James' question here. We're almost at the finale of the show. Thanks
Clayton
for joining
Kershaw.
Family Chats.
What the heck?
Hit the share button on your screen, guys. Thanks again for joining in and being interactive. James' question, I have a question for you guys. Who do you think is the best pitcher in baseball right now?
I'll answer that question. I think we're all going to say the same answer. It's Ohtani. He's the best.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Oh my goodness.
Ohtani is the best pitcher in baseball.
Man.
He got a blister, so they got lucky. But Ohtani is, he's something serious.
That is a negative.
Yeah, I don't like that one. I
No.
thought you guys would agree.
No, not at all.
I thought you guys would agree.
That's because you have him on your fantasy team. You
For
are really
me, obviously we can always go Kershaw because obviously he's so consistent
Always.
every year. But I'm not going to go Kershaw. I'm going Max Scherzer is the best pitcher in baseball. The way
Trash. What?
No.
Max
Kershaw is the
Scherzer is
best
the best-
pitcher in baseball.
yes, Max Scherzer is the best. I would have
Yeah,
Max.
what's
I would
wrong with
want
that?
Max Scherzer
Do not say you'd rather have Max Scherzer than Kershaw.
right now. I probably would have rather have.
I would
Max
rather
Scherzer
have
than
Max
Kershaw.
Scherzer in a playoff game than I would Kershaw.
That's okay. That's something different.
Right now, I'd rather have
talking big
Scherzer.
game?
Big game.
Scherzer.
I might
Listen,
want.
we look
Verlander.
at. I like Verlander too. But I'm having Scherzer. I like Verlander.
I mean, it's like that's a different category. If we're gonna go big game pitcher,
Scherzer.
Well, let's go. Scherzer right now has 4 wins. He has 47 Ks in 33 innings. His ERA is 1.36. His WHIP is 7.76. This is Scherzer. Verlander, who we just brought up, is having a phenomenal year again. He has 3 wins, 30 Ks in 39 Ks in 32 innings. So each of these guys are throwing more than a K an inning. A 1.0 ERA in the AL. That's Verlander. He has a lower ERA than Scherzer. 0.77 WHIP, which is right where Scherzer is at. Let me tell you, Verlander's been nasty. But let's talk about Cole, who Angel brought up earlier.
Yeah.
Cole only has 2 wins, but in 28 innings pitched, he has 41 Ks. He has more Ks than Verlander in less innings. His ERA is 0.96 right now, and his WHIP is 0.75, which is the lowest among those guys we talked about. But let's go to Corbin, who we also brought up, who has 3 wins with Arizona, 37 Ks in 27 innings, a 1.65 ERA with a 0.70 WHIP. That's the lowest. So you have
Vito is the best reliever in baseball.
But
Josh Hader.
Hey, here's another guy who's really good so far this start of the year. Is Berrios, the kid from Minnesota.
What about Charlie
He's been
Morton
fantastic
from Houston?
And then Morton, the other guy from Houston who carried them in the playoffs.
3-0 with a .72 ERA
And a .88 WHIP. That's
3 pitchers.
His WHIP is higher than his ERA.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that real quick. 3 pitchers from Houston we just talked about right now are in the top. That
3 pitchers.
3 pitchers, and none of them are named Kuchel, who was supposedly the best player, the best pitcher on Houston, right, 2 years ago. So you have Morton, you have Cole, you have Verlander. Boy, if the Yankees had Cole. That's all I can
Well, they don't.
Keep dreaming.
Well, they don't.
Okay, buddy?
That's
what
so
about the dude who threw the no-hitter? He's 3-0. He's got a 1.23 ERA.
Mania's
30
pitching great.
Ks.
Yeah, had a no-hitter. His numbers aren't as great, but I have to agree.
0.6 WHIP.
Right
son.
now,
0.6.
the best starter, to me, I agree, is
0.6
Scherzer. Based
WHIP.
off experience, based off what he's doing, based off his playoff experience.
We always say
0.6
we always say Kershaw is the best pitcher in baseball, but
He's the best
Scherzer
pitcher.
and Kershaw have the same amount of Cy Young awards.
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
Who do you like,
and,
Joe?
and
Who would-
Scherzer has
put
more
Kershaw-
who would
He
be
has
your
more
top-
no hitters.
Put Kershaw on the Washington Nationals.
He's on the Dodgers. They made it to the World Series.
Who said
They're not hitting right now.
Carl says Sale. Sorry, Carl Sale's just not the best pitcher.
Jeez.
Oh, no, I like Sale.
He's a top tier.
I like Sale. I
We
think I
will
predicted him Cy
say,
Young.
yeah, we will say he's a top tier
Sale is
pitcher.
1-0 with a 1.86 ERA.
Yeah, no, he's up there. He's at 41 Ks in 29 innings. So Chris Sale is top notch, and he's showing us with the Red Sox leading that team to the best record in baseball right now.
He's my favorite pitcher to watch, probably. Chris.
Great pitcher to watch from here, and our hometown right now of Lakeland, Florida. That's where Chris Sale is from. Is right here.
Yeah,
Went to
I like
Lakeland
Chris
High School.
Hillbilly town.
Right. So
Chris Sale's.
he's from our backyard. So
Chris Sale could be the best lefty in the game.
you know, our headquarters was right here in Lakeland,
it's not.
Florida, where
Kershaw's
Chris Sale
the
is
best
from.
lefty.
I said he could be.
Well, he's not.
He could be.
Well,
Exactly.
no, you can't if he's not.
When you're throwing 90,
can't be the
when you're
best
throwing,
if he's not.
when you're throwing 98
He
from,
could be the best
from
but he's
your
not.
hip, when you're throwing 98 from your hip, you're a stud.
Kershaw's the best lefty. He's the best pitcher in baseball.
Best
period.
lefty, Kershaw.
He's the
Kershaw's
best
the best
pitcher.
lefty.
Period.
No, Scherzer is the best pitcher right now.
Kershaw's the best regular season pitcher, but Scherzer's
We're not talking about
Scherzer's
big
the best
games.
pitcher.
We're not talking about it. It's just like the stupid.
I'm talking
LeBron
about a
James.
guy who.
If you're taking one pitcher, you're taking Kershaw.
If I'm taking, what's the question? Like if I'm
If you're-
drafting
if
a
you're
team
taking-
and I want a pitcher, who am I taking?
If you're a team right now, even if you were the Nationals or Dodgers, and you were a playoff team, would you rather have Scherzer?
Freaking
Would
taking
you rather-
Kershaw. I'm taking Kershaw. No
Okay,
doubt.
I'm taking Scherzer.
You can't go wrong either way.
I'm taking Kershaw.
So with that said, I think we are at the end of our show. Again, the show's called Family Chats with myself, my son Giovanni here, my nephew Angel. What's up, Adam? Thanks for joining in. You probably have to go back to the recording to tune into the whole show where we were talking about the NBA. A lot of NBA obviously being in the playoffs. Right now, who's trying to kill Floyd Mayweather?
Conor
John
McGregor.
Yeah, McGregor. But again, baseball's hot. Football, we'll start talking football soon. My son's showing you some baseball rings.
That's what the Yankees are going to get this year.
Yeah, we're trying to get that ring. But again, thanks for tuning in. Share this. Go back, look at it again. We have fun, obviously, talking NBA playoffs, Major League Baseball starting and heating up. Once the weather starts heating up in the north, some of these teams like the Yankees will turn it around. We'll start talking football. The football draft is probably about a week away, I believe. We'll be talking about that and what happens. There's a lot going on. Where's Des playing? We think it'll be in New York Giants.
Green Bay or Patriots.
But again, thank you very much for tuning in. That's it for me. I'll let the guys end it here, but I'm saying have a fantastic week. Bless you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being a part. This show is nothing without you guys. So
just want to say thanks for a great 4 months. Yes, this is episode 16.
16.
4 months. We have now made it 4 months, and my mom hates it. She hates every week. I just want to say thanks to everybody who continues to tune in.
Your mom is your biggest fan.
Consistent follower base. We're obviously going to keep getting better. I mean, check out our YouTube page. The editing gets better every week because I am trying so hard to make those videos better, and I think it's working. Just thanks for watching. Angel, what do you got to say?
Check out our Instagram page.
Yeah, check out Instagram, Twitter,
YouTube,
SoundCloud.
Check it out. Check it out.
Just check us out.
Make sure, check out everything. It's
Because if you like it, you like watching us live. Imagine watching us with like some pictures and some
videos of what's
videos,
happening.
some different stuff on the
That's
screen.
it, folks. Man, this belt was tight on my waist. Huh?
Oh my god, get that in my face.
Yeah, that was a little heavy, so I had to get that off.
As always, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a
Thanks
part
for
of the
watching,
family.
guys.
And thanks for 4 months of fun talk.
Appreciate the love. Have a good one.
Subscribe to our channel, Family Chats. Don't miss what we have to talk about with every sport known to man. Watch it, subscribe, share it with your grandma, grandpa, grandpa's brothers, everybody.